So, tell me something terrible.
That statement's going to be why we get divorced.
It's a you problem?
Yes.
And that's what I'll tell the lawyer or the judge. What's wrong with your irreconcilable differences? I don't know. It's a her problem, sir. Ma'am, whatever. Your Honor.
It's a nice gender neutral statement, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's how I like you to identify me from here on.
No.
That's
hard no. All right, are you ready to officially start?
The Honorable Scott, yes.
No. Nope, not going to happen.
I wish we would have started the 3 other times we tried starting this, but then...
Look, the cricket was really loud.
The cricket was loud. I needed snacks. It's been a long day. That's fine.
All right.
We're here now.
Okay, we're going to crush it.
I'm just here. You tell the story. You could completely bomb, and I'll try to still make jokes.
Okay. Good luck. Godspeed.
I just ride that fine line between making jokes and then still being sensitive, because these are real people usually dying. So, how many deaths you got in this one?
I don't know, like 8,000.
Oh.
No whatever.
Biggie.
It's over the course of a very long time.
In a little bit of transparency, we'll call it. I do know the topic of this one.
We do. He does.
Because of it's Thursday night, and on Saturday we'll actually be going to this location.
We are.
Which is fun and exciting, and snippets of whatever that will be.
May or may not be shared with the masses.
Oh, it definitely will be.
Unless it's horrible.
Why?
Unless we don't catch anything.
Catch anything? Was there herpes here?
Yes, all the herp.
Anyway, do you want to start this thing?
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
And you're listening to... Sorry, you went into straight into
I did. I even put my hand on my hip. All dramatic.
You did.
Okay.
I think she hip thrusted even.
No. So yes. So today we're going to be learning the history of Eloise right before our trip.
Eloise, which is a former...
Insane Asylum
in Westland, Michigan.
Yes.
Which, I would say, half our listeners are from Michigan?
Probably.
Give or take, which for us is kind of a big deal. Mm-hmm. Because we thought 3 people were going to listen to this.
I know.
So far, more than 3 people have listened.
So now we're invested. Thanks, guys.
We were invested either way, kind of. And then we become a little less invested the more people that kind of listen.
All right. So,
she's like, I don't even know how to process
statement.
No, we don't become. We have Patreons that kind of almost cover the cost of this, so it's almost like we're doing
financially investment.
Yeah,
I thought I was thinking the burden of
no. This isn't a burden.
Listeners.
This is a hobby.
Burden of listeners.
She's going to talk to me about this stuff anyways, so let's record it. So then you all have to deal with what I have to deal with listening to it, and she has to deal with the bad jokes. It's a mutual sort of, this is therapeutic for us.
Very therapeutic. It's much healthier than actually going to therapy. It's much happier than actually going to therapy.
And drinking with a purpose seems like a good...
Less like you're an alcoholic?
Well, it's like alcoholism with a purpose. Uh-huh. Not alcoholism. It's...
Mine's alcoholism.
It's drinks once and or twice at least a week. And then we record, so it seems like there's...
productivity
An excuse.
Perfect.
This podcast enables. So thank
really
you
does.
for that. Keep listening, and we'll keep doing what we do.
I appreciate it. Our livers will thank you. So
I have a super liver because my pancreas is just along for the ride. That's my excuse.
It's not even along for the ride. It's just being drugged behind you, all scuffed up and
all your
road rash.
Snarky comments is why your intestines hate gluten now. So
okay, all right. Look, I had some problems with energy drinks and painkillers. It's better now.
Yeah, and that's why we're here discussing the
shitty gluten-free Oreos.
These are not terrible gluten-free
They're
Oreos.
fine enough.
Your standards.
Okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get on to the topic, shall we?
I'm going to try to deep fry these and see if they're any good.
Yeah, in the
gluten-free panko. That's all we got. Almond flour? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway.
It's 1-to-1 flour, not almond flour.
It's been 6 minutes. Do you want to talk about Eloise yet?
Yes, let's talk about Eloise.
Okay, backstory though. Our birthdays, your birthday's...
Very close.
In 2 days?
Yes.
Mine's in 6 days?
Yes.
Not the same year. We're the same age for 4 days. Anyway. Same... I said that right, didn't
I think so. I've been drinking, so pop.
I just make sure I said we're the same age for 4 days, not the same year for 4 days. Anyway, so we, for our birthday, what was this? It's been a couple years. We decided like to do more like, because we're old and we have perspective, we're trying to do more like trips and life events for like presents and less stuff. Mm-hmm. We have too much stuff.
We do.
So like for Christmas, my parents got us like a zoo membership because our daughter loves the zoo. So for this year, for our birthdays, we're like, let's go do something.
What did we do never mind. We did nothing for our birthdays last year.
No.
We were thick in the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
What did we do the year before? Legos. Which is like an
Legos?
experience and stuff. For my Dirty 30, we did a Nerdy 30 instead, and you got me in the Hogwarts Lego castle.
Yeah, but we went to the aquarium in Legoland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we bought the Harry Potter Lego set.
Yeah, and that was an experience. It took months to put it together.
Yeah. But, so for this year, we're going to Eloise, which does haunted tours. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go for 7-ish hours.
Yep, it's one of the most haunted places in Michigan.
Yeah. So, and I've never been on any sort of ghost tour, and you've never been on a professional one.
No,
like family.
Just trespassing.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. This is the first time she's legally been. Yeah. So it'll be fun. We've got our cheapish. We got our audio recorder. We have our cameras. And we have ourselves. So everything we capture will go on Patreon. The good stuff, like little tidbits and like little teaser stuff, I'm sure will be on social media. So keep an eye out for that.
No, because we're so active on social media.
Hey, I tweet occasionally.
Hey, and I put Facebook posts occasionally.
And we went over 300 followers on Facebook.
Look at us go.
I know.
Yeah.
So thanks for everyone who follows us. She runs Facebook, so we're almost at 100 followers on Twitter, and that's like a big deal for me. So, and probably 80 of them are other podcasts, but hey,
whatever.
Other small independent podcasts, so we just are supporting each other. Anyway, so yeah, we're going on Saturday night, which will be your birthday.
It will be my birthday.
Woo!
Your birthday is a full moon.
Okay. You want to have a bonfire? I don't know what you want.
Yes.
Do you want to charge your crystals on a dock by the lake? Oh my gosh.
We'll definitely charge my crystals by the bonfire that we have.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah. So this is a little bit of backstory. A, so that we know the backstory going in, and B, because it's interesting and terrible, and we figure you guys would want to hear.
Because psych wards in the late 1800s were in a great place.
Late 18?
Late 18.
Oh, fun. I didn't know how long you've been around for.
Very long time.
Okay.
Mid 18.
And
not even late, early 18.
Last night, to pregame for this, we watched Destination Fears episode on Eloise. It's on Travel Channel. If you've watched it, we know people who hate it. We tend to like it. It's a fun show about going to haunted locations. They went to Eloise. They didn't catch like anything crazy, just, the usual stuff. But so we watched that. So I have a little bit of the backstory. And then I'm sure you went and did deeper research than that.
Definitely.
As your usual. So anyway, I'm done talking.
Take it away.
I'm going to eat some cold pizza. You talk at these people.
Sounds good. So, side note, cold gluten-free pizza, it's awful. Don't try it.
I'm eating gluten-filled pizza happily.
Fuck off. So Eloise was first established in 1839.
Do you have why it's called Eloise? Because I'm curious as to that.
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
So just a couple of years after Michigan gained its statehood, Wayne County purchased a little wooden building known as the Black Horse Tavern.
Party on, Wayne. I don't get a party on, Garth. What are you?
It took me like one beat to even put that in the pop culture vernacular that I was like, okay, that's a thing. That's right.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It's fine. We've just had this as a couple. We've had this, what's it called? Call and response. Call and response for a decade now. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I really dropped the ball.
I feel very let down.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I have cold pizza to comfort me. Proceed with your story.
Anyway, so they bought a building known as the Black Horse Tavern and the surrounding 160 acres and the 160-acre farm located at the corner of Merriman Road and Michigan Ave in what became Westland, Michigan. At this time, Eloise was known as the Wayne County Poorhouse.
You really got to hit that P hard.
Poorhouse.
Yep, poorhouse.
Sounds like the whorehouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was explaining this to coworkers earlier, and they thought I said whorehouse, and I was like, no, it used to be a poorhouse.
You really got to make sure people know. So Wayne County erected an additional building, an A-frame wooden structure, to house the overflow from another poorhouse in Detroit. 35 tenants made their way to the new location, but most refused to go because it was too far out in the boonies, which it was, and that was the whole point. The city wanted to out of sight, out of mind, all the, quote, dregs, vagrants, vagabonds, drunkards, pilfers, and brawlers. It was a 2 days coach ride out of the city.
Okay, so just kind of, extradite them out of the...
Yes, out of state, out of mind, bye. So
Canada wasn't an option, so go to Westland.
Yep. So because of its distance, soon followed the feeble-minded. The first mental patient, Bridget Hughes, was dropped off by her parents at age 16 in 1841, where she lived for the next 58 years until her death in 1899. And of course, the influx of mentally ill patients grew from there. Prior to the 1840s, there was no separation between the poorhouse tenants and the mentally ill and the inmates. In the book, The History of Eloise, written by...
You got this.
Yep. Stanislaus M. Keenan reported that the first few years of, after opening, the surrounding area heard, quote, the chained unfortunates roaring and shrieking in discord with the squealing pigs beneath, because the patients were kept chained to the walls of the upper stories of the pig barn built on the property.
Okay, that's a great visual.
Starting out great, right?
Yeah.
So
that feels very apocalyptic almost.
Mm-hmm. Like in The Walking Dead?
Yeah, the barn in The Walking
Dead.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's real sad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. The wine.
Was that a yawn or a hiccup?
It was a yawn.
It was a yawn up.
Mm-hmm.
Or a hick-on.
So by 1869, conditions for mental patients started to improve once a neighboring farmer and his wife began overseeing their care, and the patients that were there were moved into a new building separate from the pigs. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, they built them their own structure. So the chains were still remained, though, until 1881, when Eloise gained its first medical director, Dr. E.O. Bennett.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm not supposed to know him, right?
No.
Or her. Or...
Nope. I just thought I'd throw, name drop.
Dr. E.O.
Yeah, so people were chained from 40 years. People were chained from 1841 until 1881.
I bet you they were chained and the pigs weren't. That's the worst part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wayne County Poorhouse received its second name, one of many. Apparently, the poorhouse was a bit of too crass, even for 1890 standards. In 1894, it became known as Eloise, and it was named by Freeman B. Dickerson, who was the president of the county board, naming it after his 5-year-old daughter.
Oh, that's nice of a guy named Free Dickerson. Freeman Dickerson.
Yes. So that is a really unfortunate name. And I know, my maiden name used to be Tingley.
Yeah.
I am the queen of unfortunate names.
Hi, I'm Freeman Dickerson. Sorry, what?
So eventually the facility was split into two, and the Eloise... So it was split into two. So there's the Eloise Infirmary for the sick and elderly, and the Eloise Hospital for the insane. It's much less
and
expensive,
Eloise
right?
Pig Farm.
Yes. So as TB, our good friend TB, started to run rampant...
Tuberculosis?
Yes.
Okay.
Ran rampant across the nation, Eloise added a third facility to the premise. In 1903, 2 canvas tents were erected, one for males and one for females, to house tuberculosis patients.
They're not going camping? No?
No, not in caves, at least. They're going camping out in the open air.
Well, they know sun. Sun's good for them. Yeah.
And fresh air.
They should have done greenhouses, not canvas tents.
Yes. So they were open air style. My gosh, my spot.
You're on the first line of your second page. Like, where's my spot? It's the second line of that page. This is why we don't do video. You guys would judge us way more.
Nope.
And the mess that's surrounding us currently.
It's not too bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's seen worse.
Yep.
So, because poverty is cyclical, the TB patients that found their way to Eloise were usually the worst cases. They were in the thick of the illness and were sent there essentially to die, living out their last days here while all all while dwindling their life savings. So once they were out of the TB buildings, they soon took up residence in the poorhouse.
Okay, so even though it was owned by the county, they still had to pay to go there?
It wasn't owned by the county.
Well, I thought Wayne County.
Wayne County built it, yeah, but like eventually, like they still had
like
to,
a private enterprise?
Yeah, they still had to pay. The state hadn't taken over any sort of like medical anything yet. So yeah, they would go there. They were nearly dying. If they did live, they'd spent all of their money. And so instead of being like put into like society, instead of being put into society, they just wound up in the poorhouse. So they just got moved from one building to the next.
Yeah, they can never get out.
Yep. So Eloise continued to house TB patients until 1923 when the county and the state took over taking care of TB patients. So in the midst of the Great Depression, with a sharp increase with the need of housing both the indigent, which is indigent? Indignant. No, INDIGEN. Indigent.
Okay.
Look, I copy and pasted that word. I promise that's how it's spelled.
That's fine.
It's never autocorrected. Anyway, it's another...
I don't care what you did with the word. That doesn't mean I understand
It's a cute name for poor.
Okay.
Yep. And the mentally ill in Wayne County, Eloise eventually grew to the size of a small city. The facility eventually... Wow, I really over-enunciated that word.
What word?
Facility.
That's fine.
So the facility...
You're like, I'm going to slur this one. Let's really try, guys.
Yes. So the facility eventually grew to 902 acres, equipped with 78 separate buildings, including a fire department, a 15-man police force, a powerhouse, a cannery, a bakery.
What's a cannery? Oh, like canned goods?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it was a bakery and fruit cellar.
I thought I'd heard it and thought of canary, like the bird.
Yes, they had a flock of birds.
I was like,
they sound pretty.
Like what's the place where birds are? Like a
aviary.
Aviary, not a cannery. Okay. Anyway.
Oh no! Could you imagine a poor aviary that got turned into a cannery, just shipping out like all these little budgies and cans? Like yum,
chicken of the sea,
bird feed. Oh,
that's a bad joke.
So anyway, it had a sewer disposal plant because the nearby river proved to be insufficient to deal with all the waste produced.
I mean, you have 900 acres of people shitting, so yeah.
Yeah. So there was a laundry facility, a library, a pig farm, a greenhouse, a dairy herd and the dairy, a tobacco curing building, low-rent employee lodging, which housed nearly 20% of the staff employed at Eloise, and a carpentry shop that doubled as a morgue.
Oh, they just built the coffins, filled them, and then moved them on. That's fun. That's efficient.
It is.
900 acres. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's like a township. Easily.
Yep. At its largest, Eloise was housing over 8,300 patients and inmates.
Like, we don't have 15 police in our township.
No, we have like 3.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
So that's like a quarter of our county, probably.
Yeah. So there were 8,300 patients there, along with 2,000 employees.
So 10,000 people.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. So over 50%, about 50% of the patients that were housed at Eloise were mentally ill.
So it's like a college town, but nobody learns anything.
No.
Okay.
So life for patients at this point was quite boring. They were woken up at 7 a.m. every day and went to bed at 7:30 every day. All they did was sit.
So it's like our 7-year-old.
Yes. So all they did was just sit and stare. There was no recreation.
Why wake them up then? Just let them sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So there was no recreation. There was no social planning. There was no
900
schedule
acres
of
and
anything.
nobody went outside.
Yes.
Cool.
Pretty much.
Good thing they had all that space.
Yep. So some patients could receive day passes, but this usually resulted in them going buck wild and then being apprehended and fined by the police.
They're
and some were just
doing wheelies and they're like, what do you call that? Like your chair?
Your wheelchair.
Wheelchair.
like my dad. It's his favorite thing to do. You cannot take him to an ER. He will get kicked out.
Yeah.
If there is a wheelchair, he will try to do like wheelies in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I may have had that happen to me at least on 2 occasions.
I've never sat in a wheelchair, but I lean in every chair I've ever sat in. So
you'd be the same way.
Yeah.
It would be impossible. So anyway, some were fined and apprehended. Some would just wander aimlessly about the nearby neighborhoods, or some would just disappear.
Oh, good.
Yep. So by 1945, Eloise underwent...
Get me out of here.
At this point, I don't blame them.
Happy
like, they're
Gilmore?
chained to walls. They're just sitting...
Happy Gilmore?
I dropped the ball again. These pop culture references are just going right over my head.
late 90s, early 2000s, whenever I had those pop. That's my sweet spot for
it. Should be my sweet spot too, but apparently I'm just all these zingers.
Just zinger. I don't know if there's the fact that you call them zingers is a little.
Look.
You're showing your age.
I've had a long day of mowing the lawns and pulling weeds. It's been a minute. All right, I need more caffeine.
You sound like you're in your 50s. We keep reading your story.
So, by 1945,
do you want a gluten-free Oreo?
Piss off. So, in 1945, Eloise went under another name change, and this time to the Wayne County General Hospital and Infirmary. So it's a much more socially acceptable name.
Well, General Hospital's a beloved soap opera, so anything with General Hospital in it.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it was like on the forefront of like medical advances, and it was one of the most like the Wayne County General Hospital was like the footprint, like the initial steps toward whatever the fuck has taken over this entire state.
Henry Ford?
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Hospital system.
It's Michigan. Everything has to have Ford on it.
Yep. So the locals still called it Eloise, though. At this time, it had started to adopt a more innovative and scientific approach to mental health. This and surgery and acute medical care.
This is where all the experimental treatments come in?
Yes.
Terrific.
So by the 1950s, the very, very bored patients started to reap the benefits. Well, these ones actually were benefits of occupational and recreational therapy. So they were given jobs such as cleaning the facilities or doing laundry. Some worked at the coffee shop that was in the psych building.
You know laundry's exciting. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I can do laundry? How enriching.
Yes. I mean, some of them got to work in the coffee shop.
There you go.
Uh-huh. So carnivals were held each summer by on the hospital grounds with
like Rio style.
Mm-hmm. So they had booths built by the patients, and the funds from the carnival and the coffee shops were going toward their recreational supplies. Soon, X-rays, insulin, and electric shock therapy and psychotherapy by psychiatrists were introduced, along with all of the newest forms of treatments, such as calming hydrotherapy. It's a cute way to say what they did was calming.
Yeah. Waterboarding, pretty much.
Yep. Sensory deprivation chairs, twirling chairs, music and television therapy, and then staff would lock patients in steel cabinets and insert needles to directly inject water into their skin.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds hydrating.
Yep. I mean, I guess.
No lobotomies?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I figured we were getting a roundabout to lobotomies.
Yep. I hadn't mentioned the frontal lobotomies yet, which is where they shove the giant ice pick all the way up your nose.
Or sewing needle, isn't it? Or is it all ice pick?
It started out as like real thin scalpels, and or like really precise medical instruments, and then eventually went to like elongated. The crazy man, guys. There's a dollop on it. It's nuts. The dude, the Freeman. That was his last name, right? Dr. Freeman? Yeah, and the lobotomobile and his, like, cut-off lab coat and the fucking long ice pick that he would just shove up people's...
doctors.
Oh, my God, guys. The last lobotomy happened in the late 60s. Late 1960s was the last lobotomy. Mm-hmm. In case you cared, it's fucking crazy.
Just perforate your, frontal lobe. You're fine.
You don't need your frontal lobe for anything.
No. You'll be much happier as a vegetable.
Yep. So they performed these lobotomies in rooms off the underground tunnels that were constructed to move from building to buildings. And so it's rumored that you can still find jars with preserved bits of brain in them from the lobotomies inside the tunnels.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah. You want to go exploring? Are you excited?
They were probably in the cannery. That's where those jars came.
No. Could you imagine and be like, oh, these are watercress nuts, but really it's just brains?
It's water chestnuts, you weirdo. What's a watercress nut?
Nothing. You're right. I should know these things.
You're like, crescent wrenches and chestnuts became crestnuts in my brain.
The visual. So there were also 3 separate cemeteries on the land said to have about 7,000 to 8,000 people buried there with only numbers marking their graves.
Yep. If you have to have 1,000, variants on your death total, that's always sketch anyway.
Yeah.
7,000 to 8,000. We don't really know. Oh, well, you should probably really know.
Yes. And it's over like 3 cemeteries. So like over time, the 900 acres got divided and sold off.
Yeah.
And like behind one of the strip malls, there is one of the cemeteries just filled with number marked graves.
Yeah.
And there's no information. No one knows who was buried in these graves.
Who?
Yeah. So, despite how fun all of this sounds, there were troubles caring for so many people. I don't think anyone
said it was fun.
Yep. Eloise was allegedly plagued with reports of patient beatings, employee theft, mismanagement, unsanitary conditions, and overcrowding.
And the ice cream machine was always broken.
Oh. It probably was.
Sorry.
It's not broken. It's down for maintenance.
Yeah.
So it's reported that at one point in time, there were 3,800 patients crammed into a space designed to only hold 2,500 patients, and 300 of those patients were infected with TB.
Seems like a good idea.
Yeah, great idea. Who needs lungs? So by 1955, conditions and funding grew worse, with the chairman of the Wayne County chapter of the Michigan Society for Mental Health, George E. Gullen, Jr., saying that Wayne County General was, quote, the most expensive mental hospital in the world. By the 1960s, mental health treatments were advancing. The goal was to reintroduce the mentally ill back into society, which Eloise was very successful at. Soon, only 1 out of every 10 patients were required to stay in the facility full-time. Most were introduced back into society within less than 90 days, some within a week. This presented even more of a financial burden because the state only supplied funding to aid with patient care when a patient was held at the facility for over a year. So eventually, Eloise closed their doors, and the last patient left the facility in 1979, and the mental hospital officially closed its door in 1982. The general hospital shuttered its doors in 1986, and by 1987, there were only 8 buildings left standing. Then, due to the suspected arson in April of 2016, the bakery was heavily damaged, and the bakery and the powerhouse are due to be demolished, possibly already could have been demolished. There's a lot of since there's a lot of goings on with it right now, it's hard to find good updated articles with what the plans are for its future.
Timeline,
yep.
Yeah.
So a lot of the land had been sold to the Ford Motor Company and their developers. It's now the home of a strip mall, apartments, family homeless shelter, and such. I was just sick of looking through all of my research to find everything.
The up-to-date articles.
Yeah.
You're no one's dead, I don't care.
Yep. So now it's being slated to get turned into either apartments or a hotel, an event center. They plan on putting a coffee and ice cream shop in, and a 1930s styles restaurant, and a museum. So it's currently housing a food bank, and from the sounds of it, the food bank will be a permanent resident, and there's lots of plans for what they're going to do with the remaining buildings.
Well, renovations usually stir up all good stuff anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the K buildings where we'll be going, it sounds like that's either going to be turned into the restaurant or possibly remain for ghost tours since it's such a
popular attraction.
Yep. So yeah, that's the history of Eloise up until today.
Fun.
Oh, sources. So there's
no sources.
Yep, Wikipedia.com, the Detroit News, AsylumProjects.com, HometownLife.com, and the EloiseHauntedTours.com.
Yep.
I didn't include any of the ghosty stuff because I wanted us to go in slightly unbiased.
Yeah, we don't want to push our own foresight onto it, knowing what's supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm. Except Scott plans on bringing his insulin pen with him just to piss off the ghosts. So pray for us.
And, I do have my insulin pen on me at all times anyway.
That is true.
Well, except right now because I'm at home in basketball shorts. But typically, if I go anywhere, it's in my pocket anyway. Mm-hmm. And because I did insulin shock therapy, I don't know if it'll do anything, but it'd be just one thing to have there, I suppose.
Are you going to quote from A Beautiful Mind as well?
No. I don't know what quote you're talking about.
Really, with the chess game? You say it all the time.
I say it all the time?
Yes. Oh, come on. The thing.
I'm waiting for you to tell me what I say all the time.
Well, you haven't said it in a really long time. We're there at the chess games, and he was talking about how smart he is.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what. You're just dragging this out just to make it more and more painful.
I'm not saying I don't say it all the time. I just don't remember.
Stop smiling.
From Beautiful Mind. Anyway, so the 4 of you that are shouting at your car, your headphones, the answer right now Let us know, because it's not clicking with her, and I don't even realize where it came from, because I've probably been saying it for 10 years.
Probably.
So, anyway.
It all rhymes.
It all rhymes?
Yes.
All I can think of is the Bilbo Baggins, the Bilbo thing. I don't know half as good as I should or whatever.
Yeah. Nope, not that.
Whatever that is.
I'm blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. You can cut all this out. It's fine.
No, it's great. This is good content. It makes no sense.
Everybody's like done listening. They're like, guys, this has gone off the rails.
But anyway, yeah, we're going to go. We're going to have fun. Hopefully. Either way, it's a weekend away from work. So, big win. Did you block off your books?
I did.
Good for you.
Thanks.
And I took the first 2 days off. I think I've taken off all year.
Yep.
Yay, life. So, and that's why we're doing this tonight. We're going to have a hard time doing Tuesday's episode.
Yeah, we are. Somebody hasn't researched anything yet.
Okay, well, we'll have a little downtime this weekend.
Yeah.
And we're losers, and we're going mushroom foraging on Saturday before.
Yeah, we are.
Because that's how we spend our free time. Learning how to forage mushrooms in a state park. Wow. That's depressing to say out loud. We'll have fun with it, though. So anyway, thanks
Maybe
for
one
listening.
will be a psychedelic. It'll be great.
I don't think that they would, encourage that. They might point it out and say, keep moving. But anyway. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you.
They'll just tell us
Congrats.
It's poisonous.
Oh, my goodness. And, yeah, we'll catch up with you guys. We'll be a year older next time.
Yeah, we will.
Or we'll be the same age. What day's I don't even know what day my birthday's on.
Wednesday.
It's on Wednesday. So when our next podcast, we'll be the same age. Are you excited?
I'm so pumped.
Are you excited to be 32? 32.
Don't push it. 32.
32.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
And we'll let you know how Eloise is.
Okay.
Or we'll have like weird demons in the background as we're trying to do our next podcast.
Yep.
We'll be like talking and you guys will hear voices in the background. Wouldn't that be fun? It'd be like, hi, this is telling me. No?
Just like that.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
Me too.
All right. See you guys then.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.
Oof, that was terrible.